more work on this community build. I was going to do another stream yesterday, but I decided to clean instead, and I found this cool Lazy Susan spinny thing. So that'll help. So I'm to the point with this build that I just need to add some more textures and stuff to it. So that's what I'm going to bust out with. I got a bunch of different little pieces of texture, and where's my scissors? I'm just going to stack them around in different spots. I need to work on this right here. There's no way to put a mini right there right now, so maybe I'll do that first so that I have a good base to use. So I'm gonna move these over here. I'm gonna bust out my compass again. And give myself like a little circular piece up here on the top. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and we're gonna have to cut one end of it anyways flat. So I think I'm just gonna start it like so. This razor blade compass actually works really good on this. I still don't know what to call this. I'm gonna call it. I don't want to call it plastic card because the plastic card is something different, but it's like corrugated plastic card. What up, Durzang? Good to see you, bud. But this razor blade compass was a good find. Now that I got that mostly cut, I'm gonna finish it up here. So yeah, this piece is almost done, and I was looking back this morning when I was editing my next video, and this is part 8, and so it's about 8 hours that this has taken me. But like I said before, I am stopping and talking and communicating and, trying to show things to the camera and so on and so forth. So it probably wouldn't take you that long if you were, just doing it chill at your house. So that looks beautiful. So this, let me show it. This actually like fits perfectly flush here. Not perfectly, but good, perfect in how I do it. But I'm going to do like another chunk of card. Just to give some more variations up here. Maybe some granny grading too. Make sure it all glues together. Let's see. I have this sculpting mesh I busted out. I thought that might. I've used this for fences, like made chain link fences out of it, and it works great for that, but I want to try to experiment more with just using it as a texture. So I have a bunch of space up here on the top of this one. It has got no texture whatsoever on it, so I think I'll just do a couple. Okay, so this stuff, I forgot, because it's metal, is way more pokey and pain in the ass to use. See how well it glues. So then, after putting some texture on here, all I really need to do is like the flocking or the more texture. And when I say putting texture on here, I mean just adding these little plates and pieces of refuse to break up the flat parts up here on the top. Because when you're looking down on it, these flat parts are kind of an eyesore. For as much detail as I put in looking to the side, I would like to add some. So we're just gonna throw a couple more pieces up here, and that's good. I think I want to use a little bit of this chain too. So, a little chain, and I don't know, do I want hanging it from the higher? Yeah, that'd be great, because there's a kind of a little gap here up on the top. So I'm just going to hang it right down by that ladder and use it to kind of cover that gap. So now, I'll take that out. Boom, give it a little bit of better angle. Bring it in just a little bit. Okay, so now I'm really happy with the way that this has come out so far, so I don't think I'm going to stress over it very much more. Oh, I did have this one too, which is like a screen for a window, and I really like how malleable it is. I just wonder how well it will glue, so we're gonna put a couple pieces of that. It glues to my hand really well, but we're gonna put a couple pieces of this up here just to break up patterns and experiment with that, because I haven't used this resource. So that's what I do a lot of times too. When I get something new that I've never used before, I'll just try a couple pieces out on whatever I'm building at the time. And then see how it works. If this chunk that I just put on here comes off, and in the midst of painting or whatever, I won't use that resource anymore. So next up, we're gonna do some. Heck did I put it? So I cleaned a whole bunch yesterday instead of live streaming a second video, and I cleaned so good I can't find anything. So where the oh, it's right here. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Flocking thing, and actually really like putting on texture, because I don't know, there's just something liberating about getting to add like the real detritus and refuse. Kind of helps. I don't know. I definitely think that the zenithal priming stage really makes it come together more, but there's something more solidifying about this particular step for me. And I have been leaning towards the more run down overgrown style terrain, um, as opposed to making it look really inhabited. And that's because when I play Necromunda, I really like the narrative idea of inhabiting a new dome or structure. So when you're running a new campaign, you've like found a lost dome that is only recently been settled, and your gang is moving in. So when you're looking at all the territories and stuff there, there's not a lot of people there. It's not a bustling settlement yet. So, or a bustling dome or whatever it is in the underhive. But I'm gonna go ahead and just get glue all over here. And part of what this is too is for structural integrity's sake. Like I make sure to get a bunch of this wood glue around the bottom of these plastic pieces, just to give them a little bit more structural integrity. And I will do that with every layer of this that I put on. Try to add more structural integrity. So we're going to start sprinkling. This is filtered coconut fibers. I use a piece of granite grating and filter out the bigger chunks of fiber, which then I use for other things. I really like the hairs for miniatures too. Adds a lot of texture on a mini. So we're just gonna texture this up, and it is a fun step because you just get to throw your texture all over the place. And we clean up and we do it again and again and again and again. In fact, I might filter a little bit more of this right now because it looks like I'm running out before I even get all the glue I put on covered. So that's what we're gonna do. So here's the technique again real quick. Granny grating, coconut fiber, rub it through, put on. And when you get it out of there, you get this really nice, I don't know, I might be obsessed with that at the moment. Okay, so I got some more fiber. And I have found that the coconut fiber is very moisture sensitive, and that it sticks differently when it's dry versus when it's moist. More of it sticks, it piles up more when it's moist. So if you want, you can, make sure that your coconut fiber stays in a sealed container, keeping it a little moist. My issue with that is that it molds. Stuff molds too easily around here, so I try to keep everything as dry as I can. Sweep, and then probably another layer of glue, and then another layer of coconut fiber. And kind of hit it from this side now. Hopefully I should be getting like a mounting bracket that holds my phone so I can do the live stream a little bit, give you guys a better angle, because this angle really sucks. I went back and I watched a couple of the videos last night, and I do like how they came out. There is something, I don't know, there's something special about the live videos, because you see the mistakes and you see like the process in action, and I get that, but I need to be able to turn this and show you guys from top down without having to, crank on the terrain piece. So hopefully I'll get it like an arm that I can cinematically make a better video. And also, I'm really doing this to inspire and show people how, to do this, because I'd really love to see. I really love to see other people's work. I like to work, like to do collabs too, because if you think about it, gaming, tabletop is collabing. You're collabing with the dude across the table to play this game. You're both willing that, using your imaginations to will that into existence. So here's a good example where I'm going to use that rougher coconut fiber that I filtered out. I'm going to put a bunch right in here to give this tube some serious refuse coming out of it. In fact, I might do like a little blob of glue right there. Get it all over me. Just trying to keep the bigger grit from getting in the finer grit, but I don't know if you can see how that came out, but definitely has a bunch of gunk coming out of it now. So I'm gonna keep covering this with texture. After the texture on this, it's really just going to be sealing it up, which I probably won't do on video because it's fairly boring, and it's pretty common knowledge of how to seal stuff, so I don't necessarily think that I need to make a video of that, because it will literally be me just sitting here painting on watered down wood glue and spraying it with alcohol, doing that whole technique. But we're gonna move to this side now, and I'll actually try to give you a good view. It's probably just you still up in here, Durzin, huh? Thank you for watching my videos, bruv. It means a lot to me. Yeah, so this in here needs a lot because I can't really get into it to put it where I want to. I'm just gonna overwhelm it, and I might even use a bit of that larger flock that I filter, or larger fiber that I filtered out, just to give us some good piles in here. Which is funny because I put you never know what you're gonna do, because I really put the work into tiling it down here, but I'm probably gonna cover most of that with flock now, so is a little silly. That's okay. This needs serious reinforcement on the plastic, because this piece in particular is right against the right against the corner, so, and it's not connected to anything. It's just isolated there. So all that's going to do is take a big smack, one good smack, and that's going to pop off. So I want to make sure I have extra glue on that one in particular. But so we are gonna add some of this bigger stuff. And then pretty much just gonna dump that whole thing in here and try to shake it around a little bit. Another reason I try to make my pieces structurally integrated, really strong, because terrain, that's the thing with terrain, man, is that it gets bashed up. So if you make it like a diorama, it's gonna break. Like even if you make it strong, it's gonna break. That's the cool, I mean, that means you're getting use out of it, and that's good. But that's also why I build my stuff like bricks, because then they last for a long time, and I can put them in my car and not have to worry about them completely falling apart. Not saying anything against diorama building. That's really fun to do, and if you never have built a diorama, I do suggest trying. Find one of your favorite sculpt minis and build them a little backdrop or something that's super fragile and not meant to be gamed with, and it gives you gives you a good perspective on trying to make something immersive. Make it immerse whoever is looking at it. So this is the last side here, and then I'm probably gonna have to let it dry. There isn't much more to do on it besides textures and textures and textures, and dry time. So unfortunately, dry time doesn't make for a very good live video, so I might end up doing the different layers of textures just on my own time, so that it's, unless you guys want me to leave this running while it dries, yeah, probably not. So this will give a pretty good idea of how I texture. You can see that I go pretty crazy with it. I do like to hit anything that has a horizontal lip or space, and put some flocking there too, or texture there, because a lot of times when you look at these, there's like a lot of ruined mills around here. So if you look at any of those big ruined buildings, they almost always have the massive amount of dust and dirt deposited on places like here and here, where shit's gonna be falling from the sky. And I don't mind if, like, for example, as you can see this, I don't mind if I like accidentally mess that up and get some of that texture on my glue-filled brush. I'll just brush it on, a flat piece somewhere, because all that's adding is like more dirt and refuse, more texture. So yeah, so I'm pretty free-flowing with that. It can be a pain in the butt. I have, turned around and been like, oh yeah, I spent like 2 hours trying to get that piece to look like that, and then I put texture all over it, and you can't even tell that it's a thing. So there is that side of it, but in this particular case, I'm not too worried about it. Also, while you're doing it, if you don't mind getting glue on you, or you want to use a brush or something, you can always go back and kind of knock these around so that it's not as prominent. Sweep this back up and go for around, I don't know, what is this, 10, 11 now? See that this, I don't know if you can see that this still isn't, you can still see the glue through the top of that, so I might just put another layer here. Press it down a little bit in there. I'm just going to keep doing that around this where that glue has started to rise up out of the coconut fiber. And if I see some place that like didn't get enough coconut fiber, I'll add a little bit more there too. I can always put a few drops more of glue if I need more glue there. There is going to be more texture than this even. I'm going to put some sand on here as well. So this isn't the first layer of coconut fiber I will use, and isn't even the first layer of grouting or texture I'll use. Actually, while this is on its side, let's put some more on this wall. Sweep it up. Probably could get a mat, like a cutting mat or a big flexible mat, and do this on too, and it would be it would probably be more effective to do it that way, but this is what I'm running with right now. Yep, texturing time. War Tiger. Almost finished. So how are we looking? I feel like I need some texture in here a little bit. Okay, so the other great part about the texture is you can really use it to hide all the whatever you feel like is a mistake and doesn't look good. You can always get some texture up in there, and nobody will even notice. Everyone will tell you how that's their favorite part of the build. Trying to hit those vertical or any horizontal little lips hanging out, and sprinkle from above. That'll give you that good tourists falling down on stuff. I want to get more in here, and that's my technique right there. I think I stole it from some Food Network guy. Just throw that in there. That's what he says, right? Just throw that shit in. It works pretty good. Feel free to use that technique if you want. Just throw this shit in. I do want to get more texture in there. take that. I don't mind getting, like I said, I don't mind getting the glue texture mix all over my brush. I'll just rub it on other things, and that'll put that texture there. So I don't think doing the throwing it in there is going to work for this so much, so I'm going to try to balance it so I can let gravity help me. I might have to use like a trusty skewer. Smash it in there a little bit. Iron Head Prospector Gang. Is that the new... War Tiger says that he's painting up some new jubes for his Iron Head Prospector Gang. That is the newer Necromunda, right? The version 2, if you will. That's the squats, right? Wait, I'm not supposed to... What do you call them? Leagues of Votan. Sorry. They'll always be squats to me. I don't know why, but I loved the idea of space dwarves. It was just so silly. I mean, the whole thing was silly. It was space elves and space dwarves and space orcs. And space marines. Yeah, buddy. That's cool. How do those guys work? Like, how do they play? That's what they are, right? The Leagues of Votan? I'm not... I think they are. I'll look it up later. But I've wondered how those guys play. They look really cool, and I've seen some. Yeah, they're called the Ironhead Prospectors in Necromunda, not Votan, but they're that faction, if you will. Yeah, I get it. How do they play? Like, what kind of gang are they? I guess I could look up like their play style and all that, but I loved them back in the day. I think my favorite were the squat bikers for Epic 40K. They were just so silly looking, little blobs. Shooty Goliath, so tough and hit pretty hard, but slower. Although I don't know, I haven't played a lot of the newer one, so a lot of rapid fire weapons, so that's cool. So like machine gun Goliaths instead of shotgun ones. And once again, I am kind of thinking of the older Necromunda, but I really would like to get into the newer Necromunda more. I just have an issue with how the rules are all spread out among so many different books, whereas the old school Necromunda is 2 books if you want like it and all the add-ons. So but yeah, I'd love to get like a Necromunda, newer Necromunda league or campaign going around here. That'd be great. So as you can see, I'm just doing the same thing pretty much over and over. Now that I got the base amount of it on there, I'm just going back and like adding it in certain places to fill gaps and add some structure to it. Add some strength in certain spots. Cover up that hot glue, cover up weird lips of stuff. Oh, okay. Okay, so not good in close combat, better in range, but tough and slow. Cool. Sounds fun. Shooty gangs are fun. So are melee gangs. Escher, I think one of the first campaigns I played, one of the people I was playing against was playing Escher, and they made like a really, really sick close combat gang, and they were hard to deal with. They got up in your face, man. Look at the 2013 rulebook. It has most of the rules part, including campaigns and newer. The gang rules. Oh, so like there's another handbook for yeah. I think I actually have one of those. I have the one that adds the gene stealers and the mutant guys. Like I said, I do have the 2013 Necromunda, but I just haven't found a group of people that either know how to play well enough to teach my dumbass or willing to learn with me. Plus, man, the rule, like I had such a hard time figuring out where, now where do I find this rule? This happens, but I don't know where to find the actual rule that says how it resolves. That type of thing. But so texture on this thing is looking pretty good. It's getting pretty overwhelmed. I'm gonna do sand on this lip here. So definitely a bit of sand. I want it to look like this is maybe a more ruined area, wherever this drainage goes to, type of thing. But we're looking pretty good with adding this stuff on there. Might go through and push a little bit more into any places where the glue is still seeping through. Add it, let it pile it up, and then I'll put the sand texture on top of it and around it, so it does a good kind of layered effect. Plus, the sand I use has so much random crap in it that it has a good variance to it. Something right here. Blam. Yeah, I don't know why they do that either. Like, I was reading the new AOS stuff, and you can tell that like somebody was like, "Hey, man, you guys can make this easier to understand." Like they color coded all the stuff, all the abilities and stuff for what phase of the turn it is, because it's lots of most games are sequencing, but GW is really about remembering the sequencing of your abilities and that type of thing. And when they lay the rules out all scatterbrained, it's really hard to get that in order. In fact, there was like an app I was using that helps with the sequencing of your turn in AOS, which is silly if a game needs that. I feel if a game needs a third-party app to build your list or sequence how your turn goes, it might be a little bit bloated. That's just my opinion. And I like a detailed game, but if I'm gonna do that, let's roleplay. Let's I have one character instead of having to keep track of 12 or 100 orcs or whatever, right? Like I don't know. But that sounds really negative, and I do love playing games. I'm not saying that in catch-all in any way. That's just kind of what I've experienced with those really, they call crunchy games. I guess crunchy games are good if you have a lot of crunchy people playing with you. Then they're enjoyable. But I really like somewhere in between. To be honest with you, I feel like I like a little bit more simple so that I can add the crunch as opposed to having to deal with what someone else thinks is an enjoyable amount. If that makes sense? Yeah. I don't know. Texture. Every time I sweep it up, I just put more on. What's wrong with me? Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I feel like it needs to just dry for a bit now. And that probably doesn't make for the best live video, so I'm not even going to put you all through that. Probably going to hop off here quick. Makes for slow games in the start, but they are slowly getting faster. Yeah, once you learn that, but that's where the issue comes in. Is like once you have played enough, it becomes that whole kind of muscle memory thing where you've played enough to know what happens next. And I totally get that. I guess my thing is how much finding other people that are willing to sit down with you and do that, because it's kind of like it's practice. You basically have to practice playing the game to be able to get better at it, and not like better at it in the sense of like I'm gonna win, but better at it in the sense of like I didn't forget to do this. Because when I first started playing Age of Sigmar, I kind of felt like I wasn't capable of playing it because I kept forgetting sequencing things and then losing, and not saying that I was losing because I was forgetting the sequencing things, but that's how it felt. That if I'd have been able to do that extra D6 mortal wounds or whatever, or remember to use my pile-in move to activate this ability or whatever, I was forgetting all of that stuff. But after playing for a while, and this is 3rd edition AOS, after playing for a while, you get better at it. You go faster. You play the same army for a while. You learn their skills, their abilities. I guess the issue I had with the newer Necromunda is that it was a lot. There was a lot more, and also it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because I bought the rule book and I bought the gang book, and then the next year they started releasing. Because that's what you had to have. You had to have 2 books just to play the game, like the old Necromunda, where you have just the main house gangs or whatever. But then they started releasing, the House of Chains and the House of Blades and that type of thing, which basically eliminates the old gangs. But it doesn't really eliminate them. You can still use those old gangs. They're just weaker than the House of Blades or the House of or whatever. I don't know. Gang or gangs. All of them. I mean, I'd play whatever personally. I think one of my favorites was Scavies. I had a Scavy gang that was pretty hilarious because I started winning, so I got a bunch of credits. I bought way too many dudes. I started losing. My dudes were starving. They ate each other. Then because my gang was so small, I won one battle while everyone else was higher than me. And when my opponent was higher than me, I got that underdog bonus and bumped up my leader and one of the mutants, and they just became like killing machines. And even though I wasn't the most powerful gang, I probably had the most powerful combatant in the campaign. So it was fun to play the multiplayer and watch people run away from him. Um, so Scabies was really fun. I played Orlock a whole bunch back in the day because that was like one of the base gangs. Yes, that's what I loved about the. And I haven't read the new rules. Is that somewhere in the new rules? Because if that is, that would be that's a very fun aspect of the scabies, is that they instead of having to feed your guys, you can sacrifice somebody else to them to feed your gang. And if you have prisoners, you can just eat your prisoners, which I thought was pretty hilarious. But, might actually add a little bit more in here of this thick stuff. I've been playing Delac recently in the old school Necromunda, and they have been fun. I played them in the newer Necromunda too. Very cool. They're very hard in. They have a steep learning curve in the newer Necromunda, I felt like. If you don't set things up right, do your sneaky stab, shooty, web gun, grav gun combo at the right time, it's easy to get messed up. Yeah, that's the one with the starch, the chaos cultist with the big chainsaw axes or whatever. Those look cool. I definitely dug that. Yeah, that's the one with the police. That's like the cops and robbers, and that's a really fun campaign to play. It's like as the underhive starts to or the dome that the gangs are inhabiting starts to fall to chaos and anarchy in the streets. Yeah, I'll have to look back up in that. And like I said before, if I can get a group of people to play the new one with me, I will do that. I just know the old one really well, so it's easy for me to teach people. So, and knowing the old one really well makes it harder for me to learn the new one because I shift back to what I know, even though I shouldn't. But yeah, do you play the new one, Durs? You know the new rules a little bit, because I would totally be down to get in on that. Kate would too. We played it a little bit, but it was just a bit overwhelming for us. Okay, well maybe we can learn it together. I know the old one, so we could always play that. But like I said, I feel like learning the old one makes it harder to learn the new one. I don't know, but. There's another technique with this texture stuff too that I'm not going to use on this, but is really fun. If you mix this in with glue and make it like a paste and spread it with a putty knife, you can get some cool kind of crusty formations out of it too. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That's part of the reason why I really didn't try very hard to learn. Actually, to be honest with you, that might be an issue with my gaming group, is that they're all older gamers that know older editions of games, and then it's a struggle to learn the newer editions to games. So nobody really has as much fun as they should be. So that whole relapsing into old editions thing that's a real thing. But looking pretty good on here. Does seem to be drying pretty fast. I have the dehumidifier just blasting over there. You guys can probably hear it. But I think I want it to dry more before I add the next layer of sand. And I don't necessarily think you guys need to see how I put the sand on. I do it the same exact way as I did this. And I will, when I do the sand, I will try to leave this texture exposed in places. It won't be like I'm just covering it up with sand. But I will be covering chunks of it with sand, especially in the corners, trying to just add a little bit more texture and strength, because the sand basically dries like concrete. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. If there are any other questions or anything for me, I'll hang out for a few more minutes and you can shout at me if you want me to answer any questions or anything like that. Whenever you want to play, hit me up, man. Oh, okay. That's good to know. I should be relatively wide open. I'm a little bit preoccupied during the day next week, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll hit you up, dude. So the other thing I did want to discuss a little bit was I got this one done. I just finished another one that'll have another video, not a live video, but you know, just one of my regular weird BlerzCraft videos. I'll have that up in probably in a few days. I was editing it this morning and it was just killing my brain. So I thought I'd come down here and live stream for a bit, get some glue on that and get that drying so I can move on. But let me count real quick. That gives me 4, 5, 6 pieces out of 9. So I have 3 more to build. So I would love to know whether doing the live stream is cool, enjoyable for some people. I might do another piece live stream just because it kind of lit a fire under my ass to do it. So so you can look forward to that or not look forward to it, however you're feeling. I'm just messing. So I'll probably build another one of these on live stream, and then I got like 2 more to build after that. If you have any ideas or things you'd like to see, they all will be incorporating a tall center tower because that will be for the next step. Cool. There's a thank you, bud. Yeah, so I do have a secret project going on that will involve the top of these. When I get to the end of it, it might be a whole nother setup, like building a whole nother table type of project. And that's probably all I'm really going to talk about it. But it is an interesting idea that I've been brewing on for what to do with the tops of all of these. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the Brothers of Prometheum event going on. Check out on Instagram. You will see a lot of cool pictures if you're interested in that. Check out, like I said, Brothers of Prometheum on Instagram. You like the live stream we're talking? Yeah, you guys have been awesome. I'll keep building them like this because I want to build them anyways. So and the other positive thing about the live stream is that it allows me to actually converse with people as opposed to just building, you know, listening to podcasts and building, which I do find very good for my brain. Like, it helps me work through. It's like when you have to discuss something, you have to say something out loud to get it to understand internally. So I'll definitely be doing more of these. I do have a little mounting bracket that should be able to like move around for the phone, so I'll be able to show what I'm doing a little bit better, as opposed to this single frame with my head poking out one side. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it at that. Thank you guys for watching, for checking it out. I should have, like I said, another video coming out in a couple of days, and hopefully I'll get some games in coming up. I'll learn how to play the new Necromunda. That'd be bomb. And maybe get some practice games on these so I can see how well I built them. Right on, guys. Thanks for hanging with me. You guys have a great day. Peace.